Okay, yeah, doing it. Excuse me. Sorry, that was very rude. Not the best way to start a video, is it, Will? Hello, beautiful souls. Oh, I wonder if I can... Can I hide? I can't do it. I can't hold him properly. Oh, that would have been so funny. Hello, beautiful souls. I trust you're all doing super well today. Please welcome my co-host, Will. We're going to look at some more spooky shizzle today. As always, Will, beautiful co-host, is going to do a pro tech. How are you doing today? How is your beautiful face today? Tell me about your day. I want to know everything. Oh shit, no way. You know what? It's because you're awesome. Oh no. You didn't tell me I had lipstick on my teeth? What kind of a friend are you? Sorry, that's mean. You are my best friend. We are best friends. Okay. Alright, let's find some spooky stuff.
So I've had this doll Garwin since I was 4 years old. It was a bereavement gift I received when my mom died, and it holds a lot of sentimental value. But I had to get rid of it. The past few nights I've been waking up to what sounds like a little boy crying in my basement. Upon investigating, I always find the doll propped up in completely different places. I decided to set up a camera overnight to see what's moving it, and this is what I captured.
Yeah, right from the very get-go here, I did not believe this guy. I don't know what it is about it. He said it was like a childhood doll, but it looks way too new. There's no dirt or grub on it whatsoever. This guy is probably in his 30s. It's pristine, and it was given to him when his mum died. I think was just a way to make it spookier. The mouth we can see here up close. This mouth is static. The whole face is static. Maybe the eyes aren't. Yep, the eyes are static as well. And then we see the mouth move and it starts saying mama, which to me sounds like it's this guy's voice. I, as a psychic medium, I don't feel anything from the doll. I'm not perfect. Like, it might be haunted as fuck and I just miss it. That can happen. I don't know. Just right from the beginning of this video, I was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you that your mum died. I don't believe you that this is your childhood doll. Like, the whole thing just feels very made up to me. But then we see the doll's mouth move in the basement. It goes meh meh. Like, no. I keep saying it, but this is the problem now with the technology that we have. Any old Tom, Dick or Harry can make a video like this and make it look real. You can superimpose your mouth onto something else in footage. There's so many things. I mean, Adobe Premiere is a wicked awesome bit of kit. There are so many things that you can do with it to make things, you know, to manipulate footage. There are so many other bits of kit that you can use to do similar things. I think this is fake. I'm putting my fake stamp on it.
Kaylee, I'm home alone, Kaylee, and I can hear myself saying my own name. Help me, Kaylee. What the f***? Kaylee. Kaylee! Hello? Hello?
Again, it'd be very easy to, you know...
Kaylee. Mom?
It'd be very easy to add these noises.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, wait a second, I recognise this house. These people have already been exposed to being fake.
Oh my god.
I think these people, I don't know their names, I don't know the ins and outs of things, but I know that there are videos from this particular household that have been exposed as being fake. I suspect that there may have been a haunting, but they've blown it out of proportion for the clout, for the money. Shame. There's an increasing number of situations like this, it seems, where there is a genuine haunting going on. There is something weird going on. And then, I think I said this in the last video or the video before, some point recently, in one of these Paranormal Storytime videos, I did kind of talk about this, where, there is a genuine haunting. You start putting the videos online. They start gaining traction. You start earning money from it. Then you're like, oh, okay, this could actually be an income. That means I need to start embellishing what's happening so that I can continue to upload. In my experience, hauntings, they sort of come and go in pockets. So you'll have a lot of activity several days in a row, and then you'll have nothing for months. My understanding of it is the reason that happens is because a lot of hauntings they're not like intelligent hauntings. A lot of them are residual energy hauntings. That just means that it's not a ghost that's like interacting with you in real time. It's not really there. It's like it's a memory. You're watching a memory play out. You're watching something that happened play out. And that could be a whole scene of someone walking through a corridor. It could be just a baby cry. It could be someone just saying one word. It could be two people having a conversation, and it's just energy that's just soaked into the walls, soaked into the floor, especially if you're hearing it or experiencing it in a mostly wooden structure, because wood absorbs energy like crazy. Essentially, what hits the play button on seeing or hearing this activity is that the environment is exactly the same or very close to being the same as how the environment was when the event happened in the very first place. That could be weather, temperature, the way that you feel, because you're giving off an auric field, right? You're kicking out energy constantly. Very few people are in control of their energy. Most of us are walking around like loaded guns and we're just firing bullets around everywhere. That's affecting the energetic field of the environment that you're in constantly. It's a constant playing off each other. So if you rock up into a place and you're carrying the same energy that perhaps one of those people did initially, then the haunting will start to play out. So this is why it tends to happen in pockets of time. It will happen for, a few days, a week, whatever, but then it will cease. Activity will cease. And sometimes activity can be dormant for years. This is also why people will experience absolutely nothing in for example, a house, but then as soon as they start like redecorating or moving furniture around that's been sat in the same spot for quite a long time, or they start like renovating, taking walls down or knocking walls through and putting doors in or adding an extension to their home or whatever, shit starts to get real. That's why. It's because energy is very much like dust. It will just settle. And then when you kick it up again, it's not just the dust that gets kicked up, it's everything else that goes with it. It's the energy that goes with it. I did actually share an experience of mine in a previous video. I think the video was my haunted apartment or something. I'll link it up here if you want to go and watch that. I told the story whilst I was living in the flat at the time, but I didn't edit the video until after I'd moved house. Usually what I do is I record and then I'll edit like the same day or the following day. And that's exactly what I did with that particular footage. But I was noticing things in the footage that I hadn't noticed at the time of recording. So I was sitting in my haunted house, editing footage of myself that had been recorded the day before I'm seeing things happening to me in the footage, or I'm hearing stuff that was happening at the time of recording that I wasn't aware of at the time, and I was still sitting in the same place whilst editing it. It got very scary. Because I was re-watching it, there were some active spirits in the house that I was living in. They were getting a kick out of watching themselves frighten me. So it was footage that I just ended up putting into the vault, and I just thought, I'm going to edit this another time. I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to edit it another time. And so, yeah, I think it was 6 months to a year later, I moved, and then I edited that footage. So yeah, by all means go check that out. But in that video, I share the story of how the house that I lived in at the time was extremely old. It was a couple of 100 years old. I didn't own it, I was renting it, and the landlord decided that they needed to do some work in the shared stairwell, because it was like a huge house that was converted into different apartments, and they were doing work on the stairwell and they were chipping all the plaster away. And the day they started that work, an intelligent active spirit started to follow me around because he was disturbed. He'd been laying dormant for, I think, at least 100 years. I'm not sure what time frame he was from. So when people renovate their houses, they might think that their house isn't haunted, but then suddenly something sort of kicks up. When we see accounts like this, where they're posting really regularly, and they're like, oh, look, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, it's like, that's not realistic. I know that to not be realistic. What's more realistic is to have a flurry of activity and then nothing for a real long time.
Jerry Bruce is a father who loves spending time with his children. If you hop over to his channel, you'll find that most of his videos have a wholesome quality to them. However, out of all the videos on there, 2 in particular stand out from the rest. These 2 videos are different in that they show something that doesn't fit with the family-friendly content of this channel. If anything, they seem to have come from a horror movie, one that is based on a family terrorized by paranormal activity. As it turns out though, that's exactly the case here. Jerry has been encountering strange occurrences in his home that seem to be paranormal in nature. On May 26 of 2009, he is suddenly woken up by a strange noise inside his living room. He immediately grabs his phone and begins to record. Jerry writes, "I have never seen anything like this. My wife and I were awakened by the sound of a door closing. This video is all I got before me and my family left the house." This is what he caught.
Okay, there's definitely no one in there. Right? Definitely no one in there.
I don't know if everybody can see this, and I've done it.
Okay.
Strangely,
That's
the
weird.
handle on the other
I
side
can't
of the door
immediately
is being
debunk
turned
that.
as though someone inside were doing this. But, as shown in the video, no one is in there. An encounter like this would definitely spook anyone. But then again, there are some who might write this off as being caused by a draft entering the handle's lock. Although it isn't sure if that's the case,
No.
it's the second video that seemingly dispels this notion. On July 11 of 2009, Jerry's recording his son when all of a sudden, something really creepy happens. Take a look.
Whoa!
The same closet from the first video can be seen opening on its own. Then, seconds later, a toy flips over by itself. It almost seems like whatever had been inside had tripped over this toy in its attempt to get to the child. It is immediately then that he grabs his son and rushes out of the living room at once. Understandably, Jerry was totally spooked. Viewers
Oh, what?
believe that he might be dealing with something paranormal. But, as with most videos, it's hard to be sure if that's so. Could it be that a supernatural presence?
Okay, I just want to talk about this framing for a moment. If you're filming... Okay, so I film Robin all the time. And when I do that, I centralize him in the frame. I don't have him in the bottom right and then looking at the entire room as well. Also, I find it strange what the kid is playing with. I know parents give like pots and pans and stuff to their kids all the time so they can like bang on them like it's a little drum or something. But I just find the setup here a little bit off. There's no toys anywhere around. The kid is quite subdued, like maybe he's tired. It looks like it is dark outside. Looking through this, when I'm assuming this is the front door and this is like the porch outside. It's dark out there, right? So it's nighttime. Maybe the kid's tired, but I just find it a little bit weird. This dude who's got the camera has gone into the kitchen and got these two these like pots or whatever, sat the kid down with them and is now filming the kid doing the hitting them. I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like it's off, isn't it? I'm just trying to think, like I don't have kids, so when I film Robin, I don't film him doing mundane stuff. I film him when he's doing weird shit because it's funny to me and I want to remember it forever. This kid's not doing anything out of the ordinary or funny or particularly cute. Sorry kid, but you're a cute kid, sure, but you're not doing anything like cute right now. It just feels very set up, especially that the kid is not in the center of the frame. That toy, okay, let's talk about the toy flipping over. The toy is on 4 wheels. It would be very easy to set up fishing wire and pull it to make it flip forward the way that it does. It would also be pretty easy to open that door with fishing wire and someone pulling it from the right of the frame. And even if there's no one else there, he's the only adult, it's just him and the kid, where he's sitting could have a string that runs from the door handle to behind the sofa around the other side of it so that he's holding it in his right hand and then he's holding the toy fishing wire in his left hand, and he just goes, yanks the door open, yanks the toy over. His reaction is also quite delayed. Would you not go, whoa, immediately? Wouldn't you go, whoa?
Whoa!
But he doesn't. I mean, he was only like a second after my whoa, so maybe he really wasn't watching the door. We were watching the door because we knew something spooky was going to happen because of the setup. It's, you know, there's videos in a paranormal compilation. We're sitting here right now waiting to get spooked by a ghost, right? Maybe he was watching the kid and then something moved in the corner of his eye and then he looked up and then went, oh, I need more information. I need more information on this. I can't debunk the first bit with the door handle doing that. It's not wind, you know, or a breeze or whatever. Like a draft, a breeze, air is not going to move a doorknob like that. It's just not. So I can't debunk that. That's a mystery to me. That could well be paranormal. The other thing though, maybe what we're witnessing here is another case of real hauntings mixed with embellishing it for clout. Perhaps, like the narrator said, this guy just usually does family sort of friendly content. It's like him and his kids and his cat or whatever. And then one day some weird stuff happened and he filmed it and he uploaded it to TikTok and it just went viral. and it went crazy, and he earned a load of money on that video. He got loads of clout. He was really happy about it. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna do that again. I mean, you can't blame a guy for discovering something like accidentally that benefits him and then repeating it. But again, it's a shame because all it's doing is it's hindering the science behind figuring out all things paranormal and spooky.
¿Qué pasa?
Ay, no. Salí de la pieza de las 4, no sé, incluso cuando salí tenía algo atrás. Cuando vine para acá, se me empezó a pegar, boludo. Me pegué un cagazo y ahora lo veo.
Esa es la estática, boludo.
¿Eh?
Está
¿Qué
lejos.
estática? Está viniendo para acá.
Ay, la concha de la lora. La pibita de la camacita me dijo que le tocaron la pierna, que le apretaron la pierna. Ay, mierda, se viene para acá.
Pero se viene para acá, pelotuda. No. ¿Está prendido el aire algo?
¿Qué sé yo? Sí, creo que sí.
Tomátelo. Vamos para adentro,
me
boludo.
fui a la mierda, la
No, la
concha de
concha
la
de
lora. Ahí está.
Asomate,
Pase
boludo.
largo, boludo.
¿Ve?
Ay, la concha de la lora. ¡Ay, la puta que te parió!
It turned
Down the
in.
hall, a small balloon can be seen making its way
That
towards
made
the
my eyes
nurses.
water.
It moves in a straight path before somehow making a turn inside the nurse's room.
How did it
Not
turn
sure what
like
else
that?
to think. The nurses believe that this might have been the spirit of a child as they work at a children's hospital.
So we did see like an air con vent, right? Just here, that looks like an air conditioning unit, like vent. These balloons, we all know, balloons that have run out of, you know, the helium has dissipated. They get to this point where they're just hovering just above the floor. The slightest breeze, it could be across the room from you, and you just go, that would be enough to affect its path. It is tough. I think, you know, even walking past it, you disturbing the air with your movement would be enough to create like a slipstream that the balloon could fall into, which is why I was interested to see how it came around the corner. What I suspected might happen was the balloon got close to them, they were like, oh hell no, and they both moved then round that corner back into the room that they'd come from, and that movement of air of their bodies moving would be enough to like suck the balloon in after them. But it looks like what happened was they were already standing in the room. See, they were already standing in the room. The air wouldn't have continued to move after them like that. I think it's one of those things where you had to have been there to have all the information. I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. I'm not ready to completely debunk it, but at the same time, it could easily be debunked. We don't know if the air conditioning was on. If it was, which way was the air flowing? It'd be very difficult really to tell what air flow would be affecting the balloon, because the balloon in its present state, with the helium having dissipated as much as it has, that it's just hovering just above the floor, it's going to be very susceptible to any movement in the air whatsoever. Although I do agree with Tonya, balloons don't just cut corners like that. The way it came around the corner makes me think it was paranormal, but I need more information.
So funny. I can't wait until summer gets here so we can go outside and play. I miss Mimi. I miss you too. I miss you too. What? Who's coming? Who? You see somebody back there? Him. Who? Him. Him? Yeah. Where's he at? Is he in our house? Where? Show me. Where's he at? He's right in front of you? Who is it? A guy. Who's there, mister? What are you doing in our... Where's he at? In the dining room? Show me him. Go show me him. Give me your hand. Take me to him. Yes, him. Take me to him. Show me. Yes, him. Wait, let me... Show me. Is he right here? He's in our dining room? What are you doing in our dining room, mister? What does he look like? I bug. He's got bug eyes? What are you doing in our living room, mister? Get. You go back home. You go back wherever you came from. What's he doing? Come on, you're creeping me out. We're going upstairs. Come on. You're scaring me, Mimi. We're going upstairs. You're scaring me, Mimi. We're going upstairs.
That actually made me a bit emotional. I don't necessarily remember being like that young, because I think they said that that child was 2.5 years old. I don't have memories of being that young. Some of my earliest memories, where I think I was maybe around 3 or 4 years old, are of, in fact, all of my earliest memories are all involving spirits. And I think the reason I remember those events over other like mundane events is because they were significant. They were quite significant. I was an only child until I was 6. Myself and my parents lived in the countryside. I didn't really play with other kids an awful lot, and I think now that I'm an adult I can look back and surmise that perhaps other kids felt that I was like weird because I was seeing spirits all the time. My very earliest memories are of being in this particular house. It was an old farmhouse and it was riddled with spirits. And there were spirits around, like, then I didn't know what they were. They were it was just part of my world was to see these spirits, and exactly the same thing would happen to me as just happened to that little girl, where you see something and you point at it and you go, oh look, there's a man there, or there's a lady, or there's a kid there, or whatever. As a child that young, you're relying on your caretakers to reassure you and to keep you safe, and you know, all that good stuff. My parents just used to not believe me. They used to brush it off. Not their fault, right? They weren't seeing what I was seeing. They didn't think that ghost stuff was like real. And my dad worked away a lot, so I usually was at home, just me and my mother. And my mother would just brush it off. She'd tell me that I'm being stupid. And those are some of my earliest memories, unfortunately. So that clip made me a bit emotional because that used to happen all the time. And it was really lovely that that lady humoured her. She listened to her. She was asking her questions. She's saying, where is this man? What does he look like? Where is he? Show me where he is. And my mother didn't do that with me. She would just tell me to shut up. You're being stupid. There's nothing there. And me being able, like, can you imagine? You're seeing a very scary man, let's say. A lot of the time I would see something that really scared me because it would be humanoid, but it was not fucking human. Can you imagine? You're seeing something that looks like flesh and blood and it's standing right in front of you, and you're saying to your parent, there's a man there, and your parent is saying, don't be stupid, there's nothing there. Wouldn't that absolutely frighten the shit out of you? Can you imagine how frightened you would be? That you realise that you're seeing something that no one else can see. That right there is my childhood. I saw stuff all the time and no one ever believed me. It made me a very nervous, quiet, frightened child. I really wish that I'd had an adult around who had acted like that lady, because I think that would have helped me to understand more about what was happening to me.
Reality glitches caught on camera.
This ring in a box. I'm like, oh shit, my ring fell off. No, it didn't. It's the same. I'm shaking. It's so weird.
No. My fear is happening. My fear is happening of not being able to get to my car in a parking garage. There's my car. Yep, okay. If I go down that way, that brings me down. So, I'm walking up. But when I round the corner, nothing.
Can somebody please explain to me how I'm sitting here doing my little thing, making TikToks. I'm looking on my desk and I see this. What the hell is this? What is this? Because it looks like it's my nails, right? Girl, I've got all my nails. And I want to specify, this is the first time I have ever had this design.
Okay. So I've heard about this kind of stuff before, and I think the general consensus is that there's been like a timeline crisscross. So like the girl with her nail, but she says, I've got all of my nails. She's just done a timeline crisscross with a version of herself who has lost one of her nails. The nail is in her reality, but it should be in the other one, like kind of thing.
This is an incredibly shocking scene captured by surveillance cameras. After watching it, I couldn't calm down for a long time. It truly made me believe in the existence of parallel universes. In the footage, the girl is playing with her phone while cleaning. She quickly gathers the trash together, but just as she picks up the dustpan to collect the garbage, she suddenly notices that the broom has vanished into thin air. This sight completely baffles the girl, leaving her standing still in bewilderment. She can't comprehend how the broom she was holding just moments ago could disappear. Could it be a ghost? After several minutes of searching, the girl still can't find the vanished broom. Perplexed, she scratches her head and decides to grab another broom. She plans to finish her work first and then analyze what happened. Continuing with her task, the girl takes out a new broom to resume sweeping. Perhaps the captivating content on TikTok distracted her. Unfortunately, in her multitasking state, her phone coincidentally drops to the ground. The girl looks at her fallen phone with great distress. However, at that moment, she suddenly spots the missing broom, startling her to the point where she almost shouts for her mother. If it weren't for the surveillance footage, her experience today might have required a Nobel Prize-winning physicist to explain.
That's kind of cute. We've all been there, right? Like the amount of times I've been looking for my phone whilst it's in my hand.
So if there's any like supernatural or like spirity people that can explain these next videos, please watch this.
Spirity people? I'm a spirity person.
And my mom has been clearing out her house. Ellie has a camera installed on the inside of her house, so it just faces her living room, her front door and her stairs. You'll see it in the next clips, but the past couple of days something really weird has happened. So no one else has a key to my nanny's house apart from my mum, so that's really important for this. So this is the first clip. Here's my mum leaving my nanny's house. This is around 2:30. And she doesn't come back until the next morning. So there's nothing on the floor, there's nothing in sight, specifically at the door there's nothing left there. So my mum leaves, doesn't come back, and nobody else comes into the house. This is in the next morning. My mum is so confused because there's a gift bag left at the door. Nobody has had access to this house. The ring camera didn't pick up any motion in between my mum leaving and my mum arriving back with any person detected. So this is what was left at the door. She's so confused. She says she remembers leaving that bag upstairs. There's a pair of slippers in it. And I'll show you what the bag said, like what the gift bag actually said. So it says on it, a little something just for you, which is like so strange because gift bags usually say like happy birthday or Merry Christmas or things like that. But the fact it says this is so weird. But the next clip is where it gets even weirder. So like I said, there's been no motion of a person detected in the house. It's literally just been my mum leaving, my mum coming back, but the ring camera like records through the night or just constantly. So I'll show you the next clip. This video is not edited. Watch right here. I'm just going to show it again.
Fascinating.
I just don't understand how a bag can just appear literally out of thin air. Like even if the ring camera is recording in frames, like not continuously recording, how did that bag disappear? And if it like fell down the stairs somehow, or how is it landing up the way? So if anyone has any explanation, please let me know.
I think we need to stop looking at things in such a linear way. I mean, we are living in a 3D reality. Time is an A to B trajectory as far as we're concerned from the perspective of this 3D reality. However, we know that that is just simply the lens that we are viewing this reality through. It's not actually how things are happening and unfolding and interacting with one another. We've yet to really fully understand exactly how things are, but that's because we're trying to understand it through a 3D lens. Personally, I think that these things are possible for something just to go boom, boom. We know that it's possible to manifest things without any rhyme or reason. We are constantly creating our reality through our belief system and through the lens in which we choose to view our lives. You know, happiness is a choice, that kind of thing. So I suppose in a way I have an explanation for this, which is everything I've just said. But at the same time, I don't have an explanation for it. How the bag got from A to B, I think that we're trying too hard to explain things in a I am, you are, it is kind of way. I think consciousness is a real interesting thing. Like, what really fascinates me is that light behaves differently when it's not being observed. Like, how wild is that? You could argue, yeah, but this was being observed because there was a camera, but the camera is not conscious. It doesn't hold consciousness. It is not consciousness. We obtain consciousness. And when we say that when light is not being observed, it behaves differently, that observation is not the I, it is the consciousness. Okay, so something happened to me a while ago and I've never talked about it because it was never relevant and it was just a very weird thing. But I feel like it's sort of a bit relevant here. So I have an aquarium. It's sat over here on the end of my desk. It's a tropical aquarium, so I have a thermometer. It's a small little fella like this, and it has a digital display. One day, I came into my office and I just looked at the digital display. The display was nonsense. What I observed in the split second that my eyes flicked to it, it showed nothing, then like hieroglyphics, like it didn't make sense. It was not numbers. And then it showed a number and then it showed a different number. I don't remember what the number was, but the first number that showed was an entirely unrealistic temperature for the water to be. Usually the temperature is around 23 degrees centigrade. The first number that displayed, it was like 60 or 40 or something like that. Like, it was a number that did not make sense for the temperature to be, right? All the fish would be dead if it was like 40 degrees. Then it displayed a more realistic temperature, like 22 degrees or something. That happened all in the space of that. It's been really playing on my mind because it's never done that before and it's not broken. I tested it because Nero has got an aquarium and he's also got a thermometer, and I went and took his thermometer and I put it in my tank to like test, you know, the temperature. The temperature was the same, and I did that multiple times over the course of like a week after that happened, because honestly it did kind of freak me out a little bit, and I thought, well, it's broken. If it's broken, I need to make sure it's broken and then get another one. It's not broken. It works perfectly. That's the only time it's ever glitched like that. Ever since that happened, I've considered it and what may have actually happened there. I've come to this conclusion, and this conclusion is not based purely on that event, but on multiple events that I have experienced over the course of my lifetime. Maybe one day I'll make a video talking about all of these other like glitches in the Matrix that I've experienced, because I've experienced a lot. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear these, if you want to have story time glitch in the Matrix edition. So I came to the conclusion that what happened was, when I want to check the temperature of the aquarium, I have the thought first, and then I go and check it. I observed that this particular time, I did not have the thought, I just looked. And reality did not know that I was going to do it. So it's like I kind of like faked it out with you know, I didn't mean to, because the thing is, if I decided I was going to fake it out, then that wouldn't have worked. I know that reality is what you think it is. Whatever you're thinking, that's what your reality is. I know this. This is how I actively manifest things in my life, because I keep good housekeeping, right, is going on in here, and therefore my reality reflects what I am thinking, and I'm always thinking good stuff, so I always get good stuff. So I am aware that your thoughts create your reality down to the smallest detail. You think about something, then so it is. So I think I'm gonna, oh, the temperature, right, I need to go and check that. So I go check it, and then it shows me the temperature. This particular time, I did not think it, I just looked. I faked myself out in a way because I hadn't decided that I was going to check the temperature. I don't know why. My eyes just went to it, and then it did all this weird stuff, and I was like, oh, that's strange. And it's almost like, again, in that nanosecond that I was looking at it, and it was, you know, showed nothing, then showed nothing that made any sense, and then showed a temperature that didn't make sense. It was almost... got a package. It's nothing interesting. I've come to the conclusion that what happened in that moment when the dial was going through all this weird stuff, my brain was trying to comprehend what I was witnessing. And at some point during that nanosecond, my brain went, that doesn't make sense to what this number is meant to relate to. As soon as oh, that's really nice. Thank you, Robin. He's giving me a little lap massage. He's like doing that thing with his paws, but he's doing it on my leg. Oh, that was so nice. Can you do that again? Thank you. Are you coming in for a cuddle? No. Get your foot tucked in. There we go. Oh, that's nice. A nice little cuddle. Can hardly see you on camera because you're so black. You're just like blending in with my hoodie. His head's right here, but you can't see him. Invisible cat. If it wasn't for his collar, it wouldn't even look like I had a cat in my lap. But yeah, so I think my brain in that moment didn't comprehend what was happening, and so it made reality make sense. I think that this is what's constantly happening to us. We make sense of this 3D reality through our own worldview and understanding of it. And that's why your reality is what it is. It's because you're making it the way that it is based on the way that you think that it is. Does that make sense? I do want to talk more about this topic just on the whole, because there's so many things that I've learned about reality and your perception of it that has completely changed my life and the way that I approach things. And I also change my reality based on my desires. So I manifest actively, and it works. But yeah, let me know if you're interested in hearing any of this stuff. I think it would be a fun topic to cover. Anyway, I think we'll leave that there. It's a real mixed bag, wasn't it, this episode? It was a bit of a roller coaster. We looked at some spooky stuff. We found potentially some real things. But yeah, glitch in the matrix stuff, I think, is definitely something we will revisit another time. As always, thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate your beautiful faces. Hit the like button, you know, if you haven't already. Maybe subscribe. Means you get to see this again. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. And check out the members button and the Patreon if you haven't already. I'm sure there'll be something there that you like. Thank you to my wonderful patrons and members for your support. I super appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember that you are loved and you are important. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Will. I appreciate you also. And Will appreciates you. I appreciate you. See you next time. Goodbye. I'm such a fucking nerd.